Hi folks, welcome back to the plot where today the plan is that the big cleanup continues. Project Tidy, I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm just hoping to kind of go through both these plots like a whirling dervish, just neatening everything up, tidying everything up, putting everything back where it's supposed to be. There's something I need to do first, which is collect some pallets, and then not parrots, and then after that I'm hoping to try out a bit of sewing with a new technique that was kind of recommended in the comments. I'm not holding out much hope because it's carrots, and carrots are my nemesis, as you know, but we're going to give it a go. So first I'm just going to go through really quick doing a bit more tidying. Wish me luck. It's kind of silly, I just finished clearing this space and I stacked all the wood in the wrong place really, but I've just got a few more pallets. There's a guy called Elmo who just always getting stuff, timber, pallets, and he's only been here for like a year, but since he moved in, it's just brilliant, because if you need anything, he's got it. He's got it. That's a big heavy one. The main plan for those is rebuilding the compost bays. I'm just hoping that the fence that they're leaning up against stays stood up. It's just started raining, so I'm gonna have to put the camera away and do just a lot more of the tidying stuff. Okay folks, so we're going to time lapse. There's a lot of time lapse today, right? And I've realized that my settings are a bit wonky, and this is like super fast forwarded. This clip is 20 minutes. This is 20 minutes in real time and it goes by in seconds. So later, when I'm really, really tired, that is why, because it's all so much longer than it actually looks. So this no-dig bed that I've just kind of finished weeding, not really much of a success, unfortunately, mostly due to foxes and things digging in it. But to be fair, before that, before it looked really untidy, it did look really nice when I first did it. But before that, all the foxes and badgers came along, whatever it was, and dug the hell out of this no-dig bed, so that's not been ideal. I'm just looking at redoing these cucumbers because the wire is a little bit off. Let me just sort this out quick. Just fix that. It's looking a little bit better, and the plan was for me to just get my head down, get stuck in and do all of this tidying, but I really thought there's a big gap here, and I thought this would be a nice area to direct sow some spinach, which is one of the things that's on my list at the moment for direct sowing. And I think one of the mistakes I made with no dig was planting things into the manure. And although this manure is quite well rotted, I just don't think things really coped very well going into just the manure. It is good quality stuff, but more of a soil improver and a mulch than, you know, a growing medium. So what I'm going to do with this one is just make sure I've parted it really well, got down to the soil level, and then I'm going to sow straight on there, and I can see some of the weeds a little bit lower down. The weeds in here, mainly bindweed and couch grass, those kind of rhizomes. They just push through the cardboard or your no-dig mulch. But I have a good feeling that if I'd left this until the end, I might just be quite knackered, and then it might be one of those things I just don't get around to, so I thought I should do it now. And this spinach is Amelia F1. I did sow spinach much earlier in the season that all bolted, so gone fairly thick in here, and we'll just see what happens. Hopefully it'll be a bit better with this late sowing. Well folks, if you were paying attention to that time lapse just there, you will have seen it. I got slightly carried away. I said I wanted to just get my head down and just crack on with clearing this second plot and getting some of the jobs done. And I just saw the tree, you know, I saw those cherry trees and I thought, it's time, you're coming out. Like, this thing is just propagating via suckers from next door. And I do have a nice example that was given to the previous allotment tenant back there. So I'll keep that one, but these are just, they're going all over the place. So I thought, you know what, it's time to come out. And I thought it was going to be difficult, and it is. So really, I'm using this little filming segment as a bit of an excuse to take a breather, to be honest. Because yeah, you can see, well, it doesn't look that deep actually on camera. We're getting there, it's nearly done, but I'm trying to get as much root out as possible to stop it coming back up. And you can see there's another load here, and this is where it's come from, just next door. You can see there's suckers down there, and it's quite a nice sour cherry. The birds had most of it, which is, you know, to be expected, but this one over here is quite nice because it's got all the space around it. I could, if I really wanted to, and it is the plan. Whether or not it will ever actually happen, I don't know, but I could quite easily put some posts in on the corners and get a net on that to protect it. But this plot has now had the treatment. It still looks very, very rough around the edges. I want to do a little bit more with probably kind of edging, because these beds just look so messy. But they are at least now weed free, especially the flower beds, which hopefully you saw when I was recording yesterday. I've given everything a good water as well. The onions are getting a drenching at the moment. I dug out a few more raspberries, dug over that potato bed. This path will, I mean, maybe I'll just wood chip that. I could do that today actually. At some point that's going to look nicer, but there is a bit of I still need to do some work kind of along here, and there's still a bit of thinking to do. So I'm not sure, maybe this path will kind of need reconfiguring. Time will show you what I'm talking about, but yes, all the corn and the celeriac has had a really good weed as well, and a really good water. There's one I missed, isn't there? Look. There's always one. Just a few of those. Can you tell I'm tired? But that honey nut squash under there is going absolutely great guns. Let me get the rest of this lot out. Woo! Folks, I'm completely out of breath. I am so exhausted. This has been really tough. Actually, the tall one wasn't that difficult to get out. These smaller ones have been cut and they've kind of coppiced, and they've got a really, really thick root system. A lot of collateral damage in the strawberries, unfortunately, but I'm just going to try and get out what I can, to be honest. I've gone down about maybe 2.5 fork depths, you know, really, really deep, and the taproot still goes. So I won't be surprised if this comes back. But hopefully we can kind of keep on cutting it and we'll knock it back. Worst case scenario, I'm kind of comfortable using a herbicide on something like this. It is just going to be a perennial problem sort of thing. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I'm going to say an extra special thank you to my Chili Pepper tier patrons now: Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Michael, Mel, Denise, Socks in the Garden and Craig. Thank you ever so much. I'm saying that now because I'm going to get this one out. Oh, there's loads of ladybirds on this to eat all the aphids. But I'm going to get this one out now, and then I'm going to go home for a cup of tea and a spot of lunch. There is loads more for me to do, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull myself off the sofa. So if the video is ending now, thank you ever so much for watching, and if it's not ending now, then, well, I can't wait to see what I come back and get finished. We are back, folks. I didn't give up. I've gone home, had a good rest. Sometimes, you know, you can power through, and sometimes you really do need to just take a minute and recharge the battery. So I'm rehydrated, I've had some nice lunch, and I'm back to carry on the big tidy. We did get the last of the cherry tree out. I think I did a pretty good job on the root system that I'm casting in shadow. You can see there's some fairly chunky stuff, but pretty much all of it did end up kind of, you know, leaving a little bit of taproot in, which is just one of those things you've got to accept. Otherwise I would have been there just for hours and hours just trying to get every last bit. So hopefully, I mean, I'm sure it's going to come back a little bit, but hopefully that will have really nipped it in the bud, and the corn's going to have a bit more sun. Everything here is going to be just a bit more free, and it allows me to think a bit more clearly about the structure of all this for next year. All of these raspberries are going to be coming out. Still haven't decided quite where they're going to go, but I don't like them where they are. And yes, like I say, there are plans afoot. There are plans afoot that the patrons know all about. For now, there's just a little bit of last minute tidying. I'm probably going to leave most of the stuff at this back end under the plums. That's kind of hidden. I've got a nice little stack of you know, woody stems and that kind of thing. That's where I'm going to put the apple tree. And I tell you what, look at what I found the other day. Oh, wind's picking up. Found this kind of box profile sheeting in the skip that someone was throwing away, and I thought, hey, I'll find a use for that at some point, even if it's you know, just a lid for a compost bay, or using as a weed matting or something like that. At the moment it's just weighing down some more weed matting, but oh, it's coming together. It's looking good, but you can still see there's lots of little bits here and there, cardboard and manure bags and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to get this one more little once over, and then I'm going to do a little bit on all that line at the back there. There's just this massive mega pile of cardboard that I'm going to move over by the shed, as will a few of those things probably go over there. So there it is, probably about the neatest it's going to look for quite a long time, I should imagine. It's a bit of a shame about this cardboard squash setup. It really is just a bit of a bodge to keep the weeds down around the squash, and I must say it is effective, but it is also quite ugly. But generally everything's pretty tidy. It's a shame as well here about a bit of a scar from where the compost was laid out for a long time. So I've just laid it all kind of neatly out the back there. But I guess the kind of issue is really what I've done is just moved a lot of the problem and a lot of the work to back here. But this is a weight off. It is looking really good. I've just noticed there's a few more raspberries down here that need to come out, which is a bit annoying, but now my attention turns to here. There's lots of slabs over here hidden, which is really, really nice. Loads and loads of cardboard under that wheelbarrow that I'm going to shift. This squash, well, oh, it's actually got some squash on it, look. Fairly sure this is one of the mystery no labelers. I'm happy to actually see a squash coming into fruition, but that's enough talking. I keep taking these little talking breaks, kind of to show you, but also kind of just so it means I don't have to do any work. But let's get some more of this stuff shifted. Some time later, and we nearly have, there's still a few little bits I need to take, but we pretty much have a blank slate here. Obviously a lot of grass and vegetation, a squash in the way. That over there is a grape, so you might have seen I was paying quite a bit of kind of attention to this area. I've moved all of the barrel and the compost bin and that kind of thing, but I was really shocked to see this grape. I've been kind of aware of because it's been on the edge of my plot, been aware of it for a long time, and I've never seen it grow, really. It just doesn't do it. And this year it's actually got some tiny little grapes to be on here, absolutely kind of intertwined with the grass, which is a bit of a shame, but interesting. I'm just going to kind of probably, well, maybe I'll leave that and see what happens. Maybe I'll dig it up and move it, depending on the plans for this area, but oh, it feels good to be kind of cracking through this. And I was about to, I've just filled up a wheelbarrow with wood chip, and I was going to put a load of the cardboard I kind of sorted into two piles, one still usable and the other just completely rubbish. So most of that has gone in the compost now, because I was going to put it down here and wood chip this path, which ordinarily would be grass, but because I'm gonna, well, we've got the plans that I keep alluding to is one, but The second reason that I don't think is worthwhile is this is so lumpy bumpy. All of the wood chip after a couple of days or some rain or anything, it's just going to go everywhere. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it because it wouldn't last. So it's safe to say I'm definitely feeling it today. I think I got to the plot about 9:30. It's now 6:30, so that's a pretty good shift. Well, I did have that little lunch break. But one thing I have done, I found some wire. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've just kind of been setting it out as an indicative kind of thing to look at it as badger protection. There are a few issues, and I think the first one is the height of the corn means it's going to be like perfect just badger head height, basically. They're just going to have to look up, and when this corn starts to form, I think they'll be able to get it quite easily. And the second issue is how close the corn is planted to the edge of this bed. So even if I get the netting kind of on the edge of the bed, I think the corn might just come through it. And the netting isn't particularly tall, and it has to be dug in really for the badgers. They are expert diggers, and if you don't dig it in, it's just, I think what I might do is just kind of loosely pin this round, probably not dig it in properly, and just say, look, if they want to get it, they're going to get it, but hopefully there's at least a bit of a deterrent. Sometimes you don't need to make your crop completely pest-proof. You just have to put in a slight deterrent, and if you're on an allotment where lots of other people are growing it and they don't have any deterrent at all, they will hopefully just go path of least resistance and take someone else's corn. It's... I don't know, maybe I should put a bit more time and effort. But the corn looks a bit crap. There's not as much as I was expecting. I don't know, we'll see. I'm really tired at the end of the day, so I might just leave this up for now and decide when my mind is firing on all cylinders. There we go. That is literally everything within reason tidied and sorted out on plot number 2. No longer can I say the second plot is a struggle. On top of it, apart from that wood chip, which I will find useful, I am very, very sure. Let's go look at how I'm sowing these carrots. We've come over to the plant nursery where I've got a bit of compost kicking about. It feels really good to sit down. And this unusual method, I think I said, was left by Christine in the comments, and it involves an egg carton. I have always struggled with carrot, not just growing, but especially germination. And she said, this is her little tip, what you do is you fill your egg carton with damp compost and put 2 seeds in each cell with a little hole in the bottom. Then once you've germinated, you can basically just take each of these and put them out in the bed, and they're perfectly spaced. The problem is, I assume you kind of want, how to explain this? If these 2 were in, oh God, my brain is completely scrambled. You want this to go up in a line, okay? They said as well to use a 32 box. Well, I wouldn't have got through that many. So we've just got 12. I'm gonna try and, well, I don't know. Should I try and cut them? I spent a little while like being a bit nervous about cutting it down the middle. And then I realized that actually, I think if you did that, it would be a mistake, because I'm showing you up close as if you've never seen one of these before, but there's not actually anything here really that would hold it in. So if you cut down, I think all the compost would just spill out. I think you're meant to put these out in 2 lines. That's still probably far enough away, isn't it, for a carrot? We're gonna give it a go like this. It just will be a really weird little patch of carrots. Or maybe I could do a few of these in succession. I'm gonna buy some more eggs. I feel like if you don't put a big enough hole in these, then your carrot's just gonna hit it and go wonky. The things we do for carrots, you know, like the amount of time I spent faffing around, putting boards on them, covering them, watering them every day, you know, taking a trip to the allotment, especially just to make sure the carrots are still watered, and you just end up with, I've got one tiny little row. It just suddenly dawned on me that this just feels really silly. I feel like, Christine, you might be playing a prank on me, and if so, well done, because I do feel a bit absurd. The carrot seed that I've got though, not just any old seed, Autumn King 2, actually kind of appropriate for the time of year, not just a random packet that I found, and very fresh. Like, I bought this the start of the year because I really wanted to do some Christmas carrots, so 2 of these in each cell, let's go. I really hope this works. There we have it. This is in lovely, moist silver grow. So there's no excuses for the compost or anything like that. Hopefully this will work. I'm just covering them over. The idea is you do 2, or maybe 5, if you've been a bit loose with the scattering. And then you just let one go. You know, you cull the weaker looking one after a little while. And I have no idea what to expect from this, but it's a fun little experiment. It feels like very, very much the sort of thing you would do with kids, you know, like to get kids growing. Yeah, growing an egg carton. Gonna put this in the greenhouse. Like I say, it's really moist, so it doesn't need any watering. And we'll see how it goes. I think that's it for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. It's a bit of a marathon. I have no idea how long this video is, but yeah, thank you ever so much. And hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.